All right. It looks like we have a good crowd gathering. Our students are here. I want to welcome you. Several staff members are here. Thanks for joining us. And of course, I want to say special thanks to both our guests and our donors, and finally our faculty. So I'm Jeff Moore. I'm the director of the Beckman Institute for Advanced Science and Technology. And I really want to thank you for joining us today to celebrate our student award recipients. Today's event is a little different from the way we've done this in the last few years. It's the first time we've hosted this virtually, and when we started planning, we weren't sure what the safest way to gather would be. So we decided to plan the virtual event. Of course, we'd love to be together in person, but this year we're really, going to be doing the virtual event. And because of that, it was actually an opportunity to bring in additional people who would otherwise not be able to attend. So for those of you who are logged on from far away, thank you for joining us. Um, we also changed the timing of the event. So previously we gathered in April, and that was right at the beginning of the summer session when the students would begin to do their work. But now we decided that if we wait until the summertime, we get a chance for the students to show off a little bit about what their summer research was and what they took away. And that, we get sort of this opportunity now to peek into the work that they've done. It's through the generosity of the Beckman Foundation, Carle Health, and the families of Eric Hefferkamp, Nadine Burry Smith, and Thomas Huang. The Beckman Institute is able to provide opportunities for undergraduates as well as graduate students to pursue the extraordinary interdisciplinary research that we do here. Before the celebration part of today's events began, I want to take and begin on a solemn note. It's been a while since we've been together, and in that time, there's been passing of three people who would often come to the awards event. So let's take a moment to remember Jean Smith, Margaret Huang, and Professor Thomas Huang. Jean was the mother of Nadine Burry Smith, who is memorialized with one of our awards today. And the Huang Award was created in honor of the Huangs. We'll take a moment to observe them in silence. Thank you. Their memory is a blessing, and we're certainly grateful for the support of the many award winners that they have enabled throughout the years. Today, we're thrilled to recognize 11 of our students, they're undergraduates and graduates both. And it's an honor and a privilege to provide really these researchers as the next generation of scientists and researchers support for their interdisciplinary research. Thanks to these awards, our donors can bring some of the best, and, from our donors' contributions, we can achieve some of the best and brightest of our students across campus to come to the Beckman Institute and perform some research during the summertime. I know their futures are bright, and we're certainly hopeful to get them started on their own barrier-breaking interdisciplinary science careers. So I'm going to name each winner and share a little bit about their research. They've all sent photos of their summer work and brief quotes about what they've learned. Um, as they're announced, if you would like, please use the reaction buttons in Zoom and give them a virtual round of applause. After we're done, I'm going to be asking us to turn on our cameras at the very end of the presentation, and we'll do a Zoom snapshot of all of us who are present today. So let's begin with the Beckman Undergraduate Fellows. Supported by funding from the Arnold and Mabel Beckman Foundation, The Beckman Institute Undergraduate Fellowship offers University of Illinois undergraduate students the opportunity to pursue interdisciplinary research at the Institute during the summer. Nissa Alim is a junior majoring in interdisciplinary health sciences. She's conducted research with molecular and integrative physiology professor Dan Yano. She's working to identify neurochemical pathways of information flowing through the lateral cortex of the inferior colloculus, which is a major integrative hub in the auditory system. I'll let you read the sentences that each of the students have provided about their work for yourselves and take a peek of some of the data or them in action as we see these slides. Congratulations to Nisa. Next up, Yamina Abrin is a junior majoring in bioengineering and psychology. She's working also with Dan Yano, and in addition to Dan Vavash Dabruki, who's an associate professor of bioengineering. And her work has been aimed at studying the link between age-related hearing loss and Alzheimer's disease. So congratulations to Yamina. Abigail Heistad is a junior majoring in psychology and gender and women's studies. She's working with psychology professor Justin Rhodes in studying species, the anemone fish. The anemone fish is the clownfish, also known as the clownfish, undergoes an adult sex change from male to female. Congratulations, Abigail. Our next Beckman undergraduate fellow is Lena Asa. She's a senior majoring in molecular and cellular biology. She's also working with Dan Yano. Lena is looking at examining descending connections originating from the auditory cortex of the brain. We are excited that you could spend the summer with us, Lena. And the last of the Beckman Institute undergraduate fellows, Shreyash Rajagopalan. Shreya is a sophomore majoring in integrative biology honors and clinical psychology. He's working with Mariana Lean, who's an assistant professor of entomology, and they're studying the leafhopper brachiosomes, which are an intricate structure, microscopic granules that insects secrete. Congratulations to Suresh and all of our Beckman Institute undergraduate fellows. Let's give them a virtual round of applause. Next is the Carl Neuroscience Institute Undergraduate Research Award, which allows promising undergraduates to pursue research in magnetic resonance neuroimaging at the Beckman Institute or at Carle Foundation Hospital during the summer. Liz Spurlock is a senior majoring in psychology and molecular and cellular biology. She's working with Beckman clinical affiliate Dr. Graham Huseman, who's epileptologist. It's at Carle Foundation Hospital. Graham is at Carle. She's studying whether magnetic resonance elastography is able to detect focal cortical dysplasia earlier than other kinds of magnetic imaging methods. It's great to have you here this summer, Liz.
Thank you so much.
All right. You have a high density information slide, which I appreciate, but thank you. Next, I'm going to recognize the recipient of the Eric Hafferkamp Memorial Award for undergraduate research. This award is funded by the Eric Hafferkamp Memorial Fund, which was established in 2010 by the Hafferkamp family and friends. Eric was a young scholar here at the Beckman Institute, and he was a budding neuroscience scientist who had a double major in psychology and molecular and cellular physiology. In his memory, his family and friends, colleagues established the Eric Hafferkamp Memorial Fund to continue to support undergraduate research in neuroscience here at the Beckman Institute. This year, we're pleased to recognize Julia Radu. Julia is a sophomore psychology major who's conducting research with psychology professor Florin Dolkus. She's working to gain a more mathematical and statistical understanding of how individuals learn, act, and elevate others in social situations. Thanks for participating with us this summer, Julia. Next, I'd like to recognize the Nadine Burry Smith Memorial Fellowships. This program is funded by Nadine Burry Smith Memorial Fund, which was established in 2011 by Nadine's family, friends, and colleagues. Nadine was alumna of Illinois, and she earned 3 degrees here, a bachelor's degree in computer science, a master's degree in electrical engineering, and finally, a PhD in biophysics. She was well known for her research on medical imaging and therapeutic ultrasound. And she was also passionate about advancing women in science and engineering. Here at Beckman, we're really proud to be able to honor Nadine's memory by supporting up to 2 awards for women graduate students doing medical imaging research here at Beckman. This year, we're pleased to have our 2 award winners, Iman Hamad and Naya Goswami. Iman, as you can see in the picture, is a graduate student in our neuroscience program at the University of Illinois. She's a neuroscience trainee who studied at the University of Alexandria Faculty of Medicine. She conducts research with Professor Martha Gillette of Cell and Developmental Biology, June Kong of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering, Brad Sutton of Bioengineering. She's using MRI imaging to understand how restorative sleep removes brain toxins and metabolites through the glymphatic system. Thanks for your work here. And I know it will continue after the summer, Iman. Naya is a graduate
Yes,
student.
sure.
Oh, go ahead,
Thank you.
please.
Thank you. Thank you for this recognition and thank you for the family and friends of Nadine Burry Smith. It's been my honor and I'm sure I'll continue the research so we get the results hopefully soon. Thank you.
I am sure we're all looking forward to reading your exciting results. So thanks for sharing that. And the second Nadine Burry Smith award goes to Naya. And Naya is a graduate student in bioengineering, working with Gabby Popescu, who's a professor of electrical and computer engineering. She's developing a COVID-19 breath test using label-free imaging and artificial intelligence. The Journal of Light Science and Applications was fortunate enough to receive and accept the manuscript that they've written on this topic. All right, thank you, Naya.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Next, I'm going to recognize the Thomas and Margaret Huang Graduate Award for Graduate Research, funded by the Thomas and Margaret Huang Fund for Graduate Research. This fund was started by alumni of the late Professor Tom Huang, who was one of the founding members of the Beckman Institute. Tom's had a tremendous scientific and technical impact in the field of image formation and image processing, and he's been the advisor of more than 100 PhD students. Many awards have come Tom's way, but maybe he would say probably his most significant thing was marrying Margaret, who's really had a major impact on society with many community activities. In honor of Tom and Margaret's contributions, their family and friends and alumni established the Thomas and Margaret Huang Fund for Graduate Research to support graduate students in the intelligence systems theme here at the Beckman Institute. And we're proud to honor Tom and Margaret by supporting up to 2 awards annually. This year, we're pleased to recognize 2 Thomas and Margaret Huang awardees. Maitreya Chatterjee and Kianush Falakaraka are the 2 award winners this year. Maitreya is a graduate student in electrical and computer engineering. He conducts research with Professor Narendra Ahuja of the same department, ECE, and he's working to develop environmental intelligent perception, which with advanced artificial intelligence. Thank you, Maitreya.
Thank you to the donors and all the organizers, the staff, and everyone for supporting my research at this work. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And Kianush is a graduate student in chemical engineering who conducts research with bioengineering professor Rohit Bhargava. He's working to develop accurate, reliable, and clinically transferable frameworks for using machine learning to make diagnoses. So please join me in recognizing our Thomas and Margaret Huang Award winners, Maitreya and Kianush. That concludes the 11 students who we had here at Beckman this summer. And as I said, some of you will be continuing. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the faculty. Without your support and excellence in mentoring, none of this would be possible. I know also that, we do only have 11 winners and many more applications. It's always a tough competition. And I thank the committee who helped in the evaluation process for selecting our awardees this year. I'm, of course, most grateful to the donors of the funds. We definitely would not be able to provide this support if it weren't for their generosity. That includes the Hefferkamp, Huang, Webb, and Smith families, Carle Health, and the Beckman Foundation. And especially to all of those that were able to come today and share in this opportunity, thanks so much for joining us. And what I'd like to do now is to have everybody who would like to participate in the screenshot turn on your camera, and I will try to grab a screenshot. Maybe I can ask Meg to stop sharing so that I can get the gallery view with the full slate here. All right, I'm going to take, it looks like 2 different screenshots because that's how many people we have here. So here we go for the first one. And let me get the second one as soon as this disappears from my computer screen, right about now. Great. Some of you might be duplicated on 2 screens, but everybody should be captured. All right, I don't know if anybody wants to share anything, but thank you. I just want to say thanks to everybody who joined us and all of our guests for being here today. And we look forward to rounding out the rest of the summer and carrying on in the fall. So thanks so much, everybody.